Okay guys, so for this recipe to make the tostones or the fried green plantains, what you're going to need is a pot of oil. I've got about 3/4 of an inch of oil in there, and I have the temperature set to 7, which is sort of like medium high. And I'm using corn oil, which is what I usually use. You can also use canola oil or vegetable oil. If you do use vegetable oil, just make sure it doesn't heat up too much because it tends to burn fairly quickly, and it doesn't smell very good when it gets too hot. You're going to need a main ingredient, which is plantains, to make the tostones, and we usually estimate about 1 plantain per person because you get about 4 to 5 pieces from each one. You don't have to have that many, but we are tostone lovers in this house, so we usually estimate about 1 plantain per person. And once they're cooked, you're going to need to use a little bit of salt over them. Now, to make the tostones, you're going to need something called a tostonera, which is this contraption right here. And basically, it has a little well in there where you put the plantain once you cook it during the first step, and then you squeeze it down. Now, if you can't find the tostonera, because I know they're hard to find if you're not living in a Hispanic area, you're going to need something that you can flatten the hot plantains with to prepare them for the second frying step. What I've got here, which is an idea, is a piece of parchment paper and just a plate with a decent sized bottom, and that's something you can use in place of the tostonera. So now that I've shown you the ingredients, I'm going to show you how I get started. Okay everyone, so the first thing you're going to need to do is basically just cut a little sliver down the side and cut the tips off. Now you got to be very careful because these things are kind of tough, and you know, you could cut yourself, especially with this large knife I'm using. But what you do is you just pretty much get in there and you start to peel away the first layer. Now, be very careful not to dirty your clothes with the you know, the remnants or the juice of the vegetable that you're peeling here, because green plantains do tend to stain clothing, and I've learned that through years of experience. So yeah, sometimes they're easy to peel, sometimes they're not, so you just have to, you know, get in there and, but usually I just, yeah, this one's not cooperating, but you get it, you know, you just kind of like, most of the times they just peel away. Yeah, there we go, like that. So, you know. Now, I decided to go ahead and make this video a little different than the original, well, not original, than my very first recipe video, which is the only one I pretty much have on my channel at the moment before this one. And that is because that one was just a little harder to make, because I did a voiceover with it, and it was just a little more work on my part. So I figured if I just do these and talk to you while I am pretty much cooking and creating the recipe, I can, I don't know, it'll be much easier for me. So once you have it peeled, what you do is you cut it into like 1-inch pieces. I don't know, I think I might get a few more pieces than I thought out of this one. So out of half, I already got 4 pieces. So yeah, I don't know, maybe you can feed, cut the tip off. Maybe you can feed a few people. Maybe 3 people. I'm telling you, once you try these ones, you're going to love them, and you're going to want to keep making them. Although I know that they're probably going to be a little hard to find in, you know, less tropical climates. I know that in Florida they're pretty easy to find, but my mom lives in North Carolina, and they're kind of difficult to get over there. She lives over there half the time. But she used to leave from Miami and drive up there and take everything she couldn't find in North Carolina, like, you know, Cuban crackers and basically, oh bless you baby, that's my baby dog, my puppy. He's not really a puppy, he's, how old are you, Gogo? He's like 7 or 8 years old. My mind is not into doing the math right now, but anyway, you guys pretty much get it. So there you go. This one's a little thin, but that's okay. So I'm going to keep cutting these, and I will be back in a sec to show you guys how I fry them. Okay, so now that the pot is ready, I threw a little piece in there and it's bubbling away, so I know the oil's hot enough. You're gonna go ahead and with a pair of tongs, just pretty much place them in the oil. And make sure not to crowd the pot, but I think I'm gonna be able to fit them all in. Now you need to cook them, since they are very thick, for about 4 to 5 minutes on each side, just to make sure that they get cooked through. Some of them are a little taller than others, so I think I might leave those a little longer, or maybe I'll take the shorter ones out first. But yeah, the point is, in making tostones, is you have to cook them through the inside first so that they're soft and easy to smash down whenever you're going to do the second step, because they're, you know, you have to be able to make them flat. And like French fries, there is a double frying process. I don't know if you've ever heard that when you fry French fries twice, when you double fry them, like you fry them and you take them out and then you fry them once again, they tend to get crunchier that way. And I've tested that theory and it does work. So that's pretty much what you're doing here. Once you get them cooked through and you flatten them out, once you take them out and you deposit them in the hot oil, what you're doing is just giving them that crunchy exterior. So yeah, now that they're all in here, I'm gonna let them fry for about 4 minutes on each side, and I will come back then. Okay, so I think I'm ready to turn. It's been about 4.5 minutes. Yeah, that's the color you're looking for right there. I've been making these for years. They're not the healthiest thing to eat, but they really are good. They're just very typical in Hispanic cooking. Yeah, flip it the other way. The oil's pretty much covering them almost entirely, so I know they're getting cooked throughout. Yeah, this one needs to get flipped. So yes, here they are. Now I had to lower the temperature to 6. I think I might lower it a little more, maybe to 5, because they're going kind of quickly. So yep, give them about another 2 to 3 minutes, and I'll show you as I take them out what I will do with them. Okay, so I've had them in here for about another 3 minutes or so. I'm going to start taking out the small ones, which I know are cooked through. Those are the little short ones like this. You guys can see that. So all the little shorties are coming out. I think they're pretty much almost all done. I'm going to leave the really tall ones in here a little longer, just just to be absolutely sure. But there's some smaller, thinner ones. Those tend to cook easier too. You don't need to let them get that golden, but I like them that way. And I usually take them out and drain them on a paper towel. I put a paper towel on a plate and I drain them like that just so the paper soaks up all the excess oil. So yeah, I think these are pretty much done. Oops. Okay guys, so this is how you make tostones. You basically get an individual one and you place it right at the center of the well, and the point is to just press down, and that's what they look like. The bigger the plantain, obviously, the bigger it comes out, the circular. These are coming out kind of funny. They're cute. They look like little flowers once you press down on them. And that's it, right there. So now let me show you how you can make them with the parchment paper method, because I know not everyone's going to be able to find the tostonera. So what you do is you get plantain, you fold over the parchment paper, and you just try to find the center of it and press down. And you can make them a little thicker. I like them nice and thin because I like them crispy. But yeah, they come out exactly the same. So you don't really need a tostonera. Anybody can make these. The whole thing is being able to find plantains. That's the only problem. But I think most cities have, most towns, most cities have, an ethnic, Hispanic, maybe a little market somewhere. And yeah, if you can get your hands on these plantains, they're a really nice side dish to have with your meals. You can even have them as a snack. See, this was a little tiny one. They come out really cute. So I'm going to finish making these, and I will check in with you when I'm going to put them back in the oil. Okay, so as you can see, I've got them all flattened out right here, and now the next step is just to add them back into the oil. And this is a time when you really shouldn't crowd. You have to be careful not to crowd them, because you want them to fry up nice and crispy. And the oil's covering them pretty good, but I usually like to fry them for about maybe a minute on each side. So I'm going to do 2 batches of these, because I have just enough here to do 2 batches without crowding the pot. Put another one. So pretty much once they're ready, they kind of start to float up to the top, like these have, but I like them nice and crunchy, and I like to see them a little more golden. So that's pretty much how you make them. If you guys have any recipes that you'd like to share, some interesting side items, let me know, because I like to find new things to kind of mix it up. Since we are Hispanic, we tend to cook a lot of Hispanic dishes. I try to incorporate a lot of pastas and American foods in our meals, just so that we don't get bored. But my husband is just not a pasta lover. I totally understand Jonathan Sacconi when he says that he is not a fan of pasta. But Yeah, I can have pasta pretty often. I mean, but everything gets kind of boring in excess, I think. But yeah, the only problem with Hispanic cooking is all the, you know, the oil. But it's just so good. Everything that's crunchy is so good. See, that's a pretty golden color right there. So I'm going to start flipping them over. And so once these are done, the final product is really crunchy on the outside and they're still just a little soft on the inside. And they're not salty and they're not sweet. They're, oh, how would I say it? They're full of flavor, but they're kind of bland at the same time. I mean, the flavor's there, but they're not salty or sweet, if that makes sense. You pretty much have to add some salt to them. And that's what completes them. They're so good. They're almost, I mean, and you can also make plantain chips like this. You get a plantain and you just slice it up on one of those, you know, like one of those graters that has like a slicer on one end, and you can make really thin slices of the plantains, and that's how you can get plantain chips, which are even crunchier than this, I think. But these are really crunchy on the outside. And the flavor is amazing, you guys. I promise you that if you can find these and if you can make them, you're going to absolutely love them. Because I know lots of people have been asking if I can make them and share the recipe, but I know it's hard. I know it's really hard to find them in some places. So I think they're done. So I just got a clean plate with fresh paper towels, and I'm going to take them out one by one. And just let them drain here on the paper. And shortly after taking them out, before they dry up, that's when you need to sprinkle the salt on them so that the salt adheres to the plantains individually. You see that? They're beautiful. They're so crunchy and golden. And if you make these when they're not green, when they're slightly green but also a little slightly yellow, that means they're beginning to ripen. And when they begin to ripen, they have a slight sweetness to them. So you will get all the crunch from the green plantain, but you also get a slight, I don't know, a slight little sweetness to them too. And I love them when they're like that as well. I mean, I just love plantains. However you cook them, whether they're ripe and fried, like fried sweet plantains, or like these are actually my favorite. They're just a little more difficult to do because of the two-part process. And you know, nobody likes to be frying. I don't really particularly like frying, just because it's not healthy and because it's dangerous. Many a times I have gotten burnt. I mean, I have 2 scars here on my arms. You probably can't see them too well, but I've got 2 scars from cooking fried foods and maybe using the oven. So yeah, the hazards of cooking, they're not great, but sometimes the payoff is pretty good. The flavor of these plantains is just outstanding. So I'm going to lower the temperature just a little. I want them to get golden, but I don't want them to burn. So yeah, guys. So here are the ones that I made already. And you just sprinkle a little bit of salt on them. Just like that. And there you go. I'm going to keep adding to that. I'm going to finish these up and I will show you the final product in just a sec. So there you have them, you guys. That's how I make the tostones, the fried green plantains. They complement any Hispanic dish or just any meal, really. They're really crunchy. They're really nice. You can even have them as a side to maybe a sandwich, any kind of lunch, or you can just have them as a snack. I know I used to make them when I got home from after school when I was a teenager. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please share, and please remember to give it a thumbs up if you like recipe videos, and let me know if you make them and if you like them, if you want to see more videos like this. Thanks a lot, guys. Take care. Bye.